boy Serbia from Strong Faith Kennels. He is from Serbia originally. And we're going to talk about this kind of dog and what makes him a real street dog versus a real sport dog and all that sort of stuff. Right, Serb? Yes, sir. Happy fella. So, what are you doing, Mr. Sinclair?
Oh, just enjoying the day and the dogs, basically. The big dog right there.
Buddy? Can I sit down there? All right.
So,
what's our sound graph look like there, Carol Ann? You got two showing? All right.
was making new friends, Bush.
Yeah, you're making new friends.
It's bigger than my wife's.
Quite a bit.
So, street dogs, sport dogs. Basically, someone gets their dog, buys a dog for protection training, or they want a dog to pick their house. They'll pay good money for it, and there must be some differences you can pick up and whatnot. What could that be?
Well,
let's start off. Basic stuff.
Yeah, So, what's the difference? Here's where he slobbers a little. You slobber a little, do you, Serbia? So this is what made me realize the difference between sport trained dogs, street trained dogs. And I'm talking way back when I first started doing guard dog type things. I'm up in the Texas Panhandle at Amarillo, Texas, and this lady calls me. And Schutzhund was the rage right then, so everybody's doing Schutzhund or wanting to. This lady calls me, and she lived in Borger, Texas. Borger's about a 45-minute drive. A lot of people live in Borger, smaller town. On payday, they drive to Amarillo, the big city, and do their shopping and everything. And this lady, whoops, what did he do?
Keep going, you're good.
This lady called me, who is an older lady, retired, had some money, and their deal was once a month, they get their little checks. Her and 2 or 3 of her friends all get together, drive to Amarillo, spend the weekend. Big 9-day weekend out, right? Well, she comes back on a Monday morning, and somebody had gone in her house and had a party. Next month, she returns. Someone had a party. So she calls the sheriff's department, and they say, well, we can't do anything about it unless we, know what's going on. We run some extra patrols by there, but that's all we can do. If we don't see nobody, we can't do nothing. And you got to call us. She said, well, I can't call you. I'm 45 minutes away. So the sheriff says, well, get a dog. Leave the dog in there. Or it makes sense, right? So she shopped around to what was at the time probably one of the winningest Schutzhund trainers in this country, also a good businessman. He had a school. He had everything going for him you could possibly get on him. I'm talking about 40 years ago.
That's it.
And he sells her a dog. This is a protection dog. So she installs her protection German Shepherd into the house, and she waits for the end of the month. She goes to Amarillo. She comes back. She finds her front door wide open, beer cans everywhere on the floor, and her attack-trained German Shepherd laying on the couch with apparently a hangover.
Oh. They can't beat him, join him, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that was my first time I got to see a true sport dog in a real life situation. And I've been on a crusade ever since to differentiate, show people the difference. So, what do you think the differences are, Scott? How do you tell the differences?
How do you tell the differences? Well, one, I would say a dog has commands. An alert command for one, for a protection dog, and knows how to out, and it doesn't target a certain area. It actually bites, counter bites, rebites. Not the rebite this way. The rebites on moving things.
Perfect. So he's got a fighting style.
Yes, sir.
So if you're looking for the first time, how can you be sure you're getting that kind of a dog? How about this? like Scott said, the most important thing, in my opinion, these are all my opinions, folks, is the alert command. If your dog has a good aggressive alert, you're going to stop any trouble before it starts. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you say sick 'em and your dog hits the end of the leash and he's snarling, slobbering, slinging slobber, it's kind of like when you hear that shotgun, somebody racking shotgun shells.
Ratchet it up.
When that dog hits the end of that leash, it's going to have the same effect, chilling effect. Uh-oh, Serbia's become our new cameraman. Get him over there, Carrie.
Serbia. What?
Get him on your side.
No, she took the hot dogs. That's what he wants.
Oh, well, give her the hot dogs. Woo! Serbia's taking over. So, anyway, where was I? I got to watch Serbia, I forgot.
Loaded shotgun.
Yeah,
The snarling, the
Yeah.
drool, and alert.
right.
Yep.
So we're looking for, if you're going to buy a street protection dog from somebody, test their alert. And here's how you test it. Most sport dogs and any dog trained will get used to his equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the first time you test your potential new purchase, if the trainer has you holding your leash, or even worse, has the dog back tied to something, you're not even holding it, and the dog sits there, and then the agitator, or they call it a decoy, rattles a cane stick or pops a whip, and then the dog automatically goes blah, 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 blah. Sport dog. What you want to do is take the dog off of his training field, because remember, dogs, they're just like us. They get used to their surroundings. When they walk onto the field where they've been getting bite work, they know they're there for bite work.
Yep.
So you need to find out if this dog you might buy will alert in downtown Chicago with nobody wearing a suit, having a whip, cane stick, clatter stick. So what you want to do is ask the trainer before you go into his training field, if you can go on the way there, if you can just stop on the middle or go outside somewhere with this dog on a leash, have someone stand in front of you and give him his alert command. He might look around confused because he's not used to working for you, but you can ask the trainer or the person selling you the dog to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the dog might look around, but he should hit the end of that leash and make a definite show of intimidation. Not because someone's standing there with a clatter stick in their hand, not because someone's standing there with a suit on or a sleeve on, just because he's got an on switch that's triggered when he hears certain words. That's how you know he's trained for the street.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yep.
What else we got?
Well, so I was thinking, protection trained dogs, and you're in the market for one, and you have no experience, but something happened, or you break in your company, your house, something happened, but you feel more secure with a dog. You don't like guns, but you love dogs. So you look around, you find somebody selling dogs, protection dogs, home security system, dogs. Mm-hmm. What are the signs to look for as for a good dog, as a first-time owner would look for when walking in there? What are the key components to actually look for?
When you're looking at those dogs.
Yes, with the person that's selling the dogs too. What information they should be giving you and whatnot.
Not the trainer itself.
Yes.
Great question. I would first and foremost, when you're dealing with a trainer, ask what his background is. Mm-hmm. It's actually rare to be in a position to have dogs that are stopping people. If you're in the guard dog business, if you're a police officer, if you're military, those are the three most likely situations where you would have a consistent work experience in dogs that actually fight men. Police officers and military usually have pre-trained dogs that are great handlers, but they're not trainers. So just because they were in the military, just because he says I'm a special ops this or that, doesn't mean he can train a dog. But it does mean he's handled dogs, and he certainly has the potential to take his handling experience and turn it into training experience. But I would certainly ask these background qualifications. And anyone who tells you I've been to 3 world championships in ring sport, 2 world championships in Schützen, IPG, and I've been to 6 world championships in cupcake baking,
Ooh, cupcakes.
I would say, well, what have you done on the street? And don't get me wrong, these sport trainers may be excellent at what they're doing. But you want to get that trainer's qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
Get that first. Okay? Then you can use these little tests we're going to give you on their dogs to see if they're the real deal. Like the civil alert on the dog when you're walking the dog to the training field. And that's one of the best ways to do it.
So do you think someone's buying a security dog first time, and they get this dog, and they show the dog, and the dog gets all worked up, and he's slobbering, and he's barking, and he's biting sleeves, and he's getting it, and hey, we want that dog to protect us. They buy that dog. They take it home. The dog don't do nothing. Won't listen to nothing. Take the dog back. Mad as hell. Bring the dog back in. Dog trainer goes out there and they do all the work with the dog, and the dog's doing everything it's supposed to do. You know, the dog is like, it's like I don't write code. Right?
Right.
But if I don't, and I say I want to buy this code, computer code, and someone tells me, well, it doesn't tell me how to change the code or read the numbers in the code, I can't do nothing with it. So is that something else where you would look for something for the handlers also?
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest indication from the seller as to his experience level. And it's also, for me, one of the greatest indications as to the quality of the dog I'm going to get. Let's face it, if you bought your first firearm and you wanted to be safe and accurate, you go take lessons, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I got news for you. This dog is like a loaded gun.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Especially if his inhibitions against biting humans, which all dogs have a natural inhibition against, if that's been broken down to the point where he will attack, you got a loaded gun. You best learn how to handle that dog. And what I mean by handle, well, you know, if you, there's right and wrong ways to hold this leash. We've had 105-pound women, ladies, I should say, excuse me, everybody, 105-pound ladies holding 110-pound dogs that are hitting the leash with all 4 feet on the ground as hard as they can.
Yeah, here, right here. They're both sitting right there.
Both sitting right here, Agent Butters and Carol Ann. Huh? Yeah, I did. What was her nickname?
What was your nickname?
Hell, she don't even remember. Agent Dino.
Agent Dino and Agent Butters, yeah.
So we got these 210-pound women.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they weigh. That's what they tell me. And I believe it. They're
Yep.
tiny.
Yep.
And I'll be out here with a 65-pound dog with this man's 6'8", 225 pounds.
Yep. This actually happened, folks.
And this Western Shepherd come off and pull that man around that yard.
Yep.
He wasn't no tree. You know, the handling it's called like science. Every action is an opposite reaction. So
That's right.
And I'm not getting into the details of it, but if y'all need classes, you know where to come for the handlers classes.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with a trainer who's been on the street and he understands, if you have somebody that you think's a threat and you alert your dog, and your dog hits you in that leash and jerks you on your butt,
Game over.
yeah, game over.
That's a misfire.
Yep. And that dog drags you over and bites this person who is now the most innocent person that's ever stood in front of you. He just left choir practice.
Of course.
He's going to help the Girl Scouts sell cookies when your vicious dog attacked him. That's what he told the lawyer.
So basically, I'm thinking here, let's compare with going to firearms. So I would think a good handler is like a safety on a gun,
Yeah,
Can you go say?
yeah,
because you can actually get somebody where they need to be with that dog, but the trigger's locked, you're going to shoot.
right. That's it. So there is,
It's a big deal, people. That's a big deal.
yeah, and there is a way that a small woman can handle a very large dog, even as big as old Serbia. Sir, I'm sorry.
He made it though.
Serbia, Serbia just saw his first stairs, I guess, in his lifetime. And going down was really, really scary. Woo, he vaulted about 40 foot out to the middle of the yard.
I can't.
Okay, let's get back. So anyway, so that's another way you can tell, what quality you got.
But they I know a lot of them don't do this, but they should offer some kind of, at least a basic something,
Right.
handling class for that dog.
Right, right. Yeah, when we sell our dogs, you get a video that has a whole handler's course. What do you do if you got multiple attackers?
Mhm.
I don't think you can find anywhere on YouTube any protection dog trainer mention the fact that home invaders, especially, are almost always done by 2s and 3s. Rarely a single person. Rarely. Anymore, a lot of muggings and robberies are done with people in pairs.
Mhm.
So how do you handle that dog if you got 2 people in front of you that want to do you harm? These are all the things
Mhm.
that when you get a qualified trainer, someone who's got street experience, that they're going to automatically teach you when you go to buy the dog.
And a lot of these dogs that these people bring in, they're imports. They're already trained.
Good point.
They're not. These people are not trained. They're dog brokers.
Right.
They're not dog trainers. They're dog brokers. The
Yep.
dogs are bought wherever it's bought,
Yep.
likely overseas, usually for the high dollar dogs, and they're already trained.
Yeah.
And that's why you're getting these dogs. They're giving you the list of commands in German or French or
Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah.
You know,
Polish, right.
that's but
And that's a good indicator if you get a dog trained in another country. And some of the ones trained in other countries, like for instance, if you get a dog that's a KNPV dog, the KNPV is an association that's been around for close to 100 years, and their only job is training police dogs. They don't train sport dogs. They don't have a sport. They train legitimate. They probably supply, I would venture a pure guess at 40 to 60% of all the police and military dogs in the world today. So some of the dogs coming from overseas are great. Some of the dogs, French ring dogs, that's a sport. And it's a sport where they predominantly bite the ankle. They kind of target the legs, lower part of the body.
yep.
And, if one of them little dogs bites me on the kneecap, I'm just going to reach down, grab his collar, pull it up tight, twist it, count to 15, and see him die from, choke to death.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want that kind of a sport dog. You want to make sure if you're getting dog, if the trainer says all his commands are in Polish, Swahili, whatever, then this is an import and that's the language he was trained in, and that trainer probably doesn't speak that same language. So it's an import.
But also, if you do raise one, you
Do
can.
what?
If you do that, some people like that. I hear a lot of people with their dogs coming in, and they've had dogs since pups, and like you said, people come, Swahili, but every language
Yep.
they use,
Yep.
But that's like if you're gonna go out and spend that kind of money on a dog, you're not gonna go spend $50,000 on a gold-plated Colt 45
Right.
that has no firing pin in
It has
it.
no fire. Yeah, exactly. And remember this, I was going to go into commands, but that's a whole other foreign languages. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah. It's,
What else do we get what else is an indication that's a sport dog rather than a street dog? Do you think anything else?
the dog don't out, and it just targets.
The 2 pet peeves. Dog won't release on command. Police dogs don't have to. They got a squad backing them up. You can choke that sucker off if you want to, for safety. But on the street, the last thing you want to do if you're Agent Butters or Agent Dino and you're 105 pounds and that purse snatcher's 50 yards up there, the last thing you want to do is go up and pull your dog off that purse snatcher, who might then take your purse and slap you and the dog upside the head.
Mm.
So you need a dog you can control from a distance. This is a requisite in any personal protection security dog. From a distance, you need to be able to tell your dog, stop, release, come back to me, or stop, guard. So if you needed to approach and pick up your purse, you could. Then come back to me, or then we'll walk off together. So that out is an absolute necessity for any kind of civilian application of a protection dog. You just got to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And targeting, Scott's talking about, boy, that's sport trained dogs bite a spot because that's where the points are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? On the street, you cannot use a targeted dog because if you don't have that target presented, more than half those dogs won't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
The game says you got to do this, you know, or you got to do this. And if you don't do this, and I've seen this in actual pro sports competitions where we set the exercises up to look like the real street. And I've seen frustrated dogs, sport dogs, looking for this target, run around circles around a decoy in a trial because he wouldn't hold his arm up, his left arm, to get bit, because that's where they target, right? So think of it this way. If you're teaching a street dog to target a spot, it's kind of like if you had a boxer you were training and the only thing you taught him to do was a left jab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to send him in the ring with nothing but a left jab.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You got one punch. Only one. And to make matters worse, since nobody on the street's going to say, hey, bite me here, you're not only sending him in the ring with one punch, you're literally tying his elbow to the rest of his body, so this is the most he can do.
Yep.
Nothing deadlier to a dog on the street in a fight than a targeted dog.
Dogs should target motion, not the equipment.
But yeah, they've got to learn to fight.
I mean, I've seen some good Chitzen dogs.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen a couple right here, and it's amazing. It's control.
Yeah.
It's not knocking nothing. This is nothing to do with knocking nothing. It's just if someone wants a protection dog for the street, you know, you want to do sport, great, love it, do it. But if you bring something in for your protect your family or something else, that's a whole different deal that we're talking about here tonight. So.
Right. And that goes to the last topic. Can a sport trained dog be a good street dog? Absolutely. All you do is vary the way you're teaching them. You know, we're all prisoners of our learning, so to speak. You know, we know what we're taught, what we concentrate on. That's the biggie. So if we've taught this dog to target one spot, we can also teach him to go for other spots. You just have to make sure you do the retraining. And by looking at these things, asking these questions when you're looking for a dog, you'll know if he's still just a really great dog that you really like, no problem. Just find you a street type trainer and retrain him.
You can still go work in the ring too. The dog can still work sport too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a whole different set of commands.
Yep.
And the dog will forget the ring.
Right.
The dog loves that.
Right.
You should go outside and train him. It ain't gonna ruin the sport dog. Just make him better.
That's right.
Protection.
That's
He'll
right.
know the difference. He'll know Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
It's like a dog. You get a dog do agility, search and rescue,
Mm-hmm.
fire detection, protection work. A dog is like a sponge.
Yeah.
You won't forget.
No, they love soaking up new stuff.
Yep.
You know, and it's just like, how many boxers do you see today going into full contact MMA stuff? How many football players, Herschel Walker, I think was one of them, going into MMA fighting? They're athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because they play football first doesn't mean that's the only thing they can do. And the same thing applies to your trained dog. A quality dog is capable of a lot of different things.
With a quality trainer.
Old Mick right here used to flush quail for me, pheasant for me up in the Texas Panhandle. Some people may have heard me say that.
I haven't seen that.
And he also did some pretty good bite work. If you look at the, I don't know, hey, Carol Ann, can you see that top picture up there of Mick?
Yeah, you bet.
So,
Zoom in on that.
yeah, hit some focus at and let them take a look at it. And when you got it in there, when he latched on to somebody, they didn't go anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
to the very top. No. Which one? This one. Oh,
The very top,
the one with
The one to bite
with
work.
With Mick?
yeah, with Mick doing the bite work.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, he'd flush quail,
How's that?
pheasant, hell of a bird
Yeah.
dog.
I haven't got there yet.
You get it on there?
Can you see it? Okay.
Heck of a bird dog, but I guarantee,
Eee.
and that, as you can see from that suit, it's rather low profile. Back in those days, we didn't have the money to get the big old Michelin Man suit, so
Right.
we kind of put our own padding underneath the suits and went for it. So, anyway, that's the versatility of dogs.
And the difference on between them, and you know, if you're looking for dogs, protection dogs and whatnot, you know.
Carol Ann.
Coming down.
All right.
All right. But yeah, so you know, hope to help everybody tonight. You know, just a lot of y'all ain't first-time buyers, but it's just even if you're not a first-time buyer, buying a new dog, or most people that know what they're doing with their dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, certain things to look for is you don't get hustled on the street.
Right. And we, you know, our door is always open. If you got trouble with a new dog or something you want to ask, you always call us, and we're probably going to be recranking up the original K9 Pro Sports, the only civilian, internationally recognized civilian certification system for security dogs in the world, probably in the fall. So if
That's what it's looking like right now.
you know someone who wants to, you know, have legal certification and show that their dog's capable of, we'll be opening up that venue this fall for you.
Yep.
What else new is going on, Scott?
I don't know. We'll change it up next week, I think.
What do you want to do next week?
I don't know. We'll see next week.
How about what were we talking about yesterday?
Nutrition.
Nutrition, yeah.
Dog foods and nutrition for dog, grain-free or grain. You know,
Yeah.
that's a possible one for next week.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be a good one.
you know,
Don't hold it to us. If somebody comes up with something better, just give us a shout. If they
That's
don't,
right.
we may stick with that.
so you know, book,
Book. Don't forget the book.
Lifestyle Dog Training, like and share.
Yep. Yeah. Tell your friends, please.
Yep. You know, what do they say, Butch?
It's all about the dog.
It's all about the dogs.